Hello students, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So dear students, this is still a continuation of an artist of the floating world analysis. And remember, the novel is authored by one Kazuo Ishiguro. So on the analysis, in this video, I'd like us to look at the language and style that we have in episode 3. Remember, episode 3 is about some of the scene and striking events or the major events that we have in November 1949. So prepare as we look at some of the language and style that we have in this episode. So the first style that we are coming across here is dialogue or conversation. So remember, dialogue or conversation is a talk between two people or two groups of people, or maybe a person and a group of people. So Ono talks to Taro, referring to his art and the familiarity between himself and Dr. Saito over years. So he closely refers to his reputation in art as popular and one someone cannot miss to know. So on another instance, Ono, Setsuko, and Taro have a dialogue in which they see a different Japan where things will be massive. So again, Ishiro too says he will be a president of KNC, and Ono talks to the police, that is on a different scene, who arrest Kuroda and begin to burn paintings in his home. They believe his paintings are unpatriotic and they hold investigations on him. So Ono wants to know Kuroda's well-being and he overhears the police commenting on the painting, a possible conspiracy. So this is again when he calls round at Mr. Kuroda's place. So Ono holds a conversation with his former student Kuroda, his most promising art student, on his artwork and tries to make him realize that his work is unsuitable. So Ono gives the conversation he had with his teacher again the last time he decided to get out of the pavilion. Morrison, the teacher that Ono used to call Mori-san, holds on to some of Ono's paintings and insists that he should bring other paintings that seem to go against the teacher's standards. So in their conversation, Ono insists that he will not bring the paintings and hence he chooses to leave. So this is the time Ono thinks he should not remain forever an artist of the floating world and instead, accomplish or pursue some of his desires. So through that we see a dialogue or a conversation. So there is also another style that is also important to note in this episode, and that is sarcasm. So sarcasm as a style is the use of irony to mock or convey contempt. So in this episode, Setsuko is sarcastic about her father and how he brought up Kenji. So Kenji is Ono's only son, who also died during the war. So she says, there is no doubt father devoted the most careful thought to my brother's upbringing. Nevertheless, in the light of what came to pass, mother may in fact have had the more correct ideas. So those are, words that are coming from Setsuko as she, sarcastically talks and questions our father about, Kenji's upbringing. So another style that we also come across, dear students, is imagery. So under imagery, we are also going to look at other, subcategories. So this is a literary device that is used in, pieces of literature that uses vivid description that appeals to a reader's senses to create a mental picture. So talking about imagery, allow me start looking at the first style under it, that is simile. So these are comparison of two things using the words like or as. So as tall as blah blah blah. She is looking like blah 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 blah. So in the novel, Ono compares the method of piling spinach on a spoon and pouring it into Ishiro's mouth as resembling someone drinking the last dregs from a bottle. So that is on page 172. Then again, there is also the use of the phrase barn-like building. So that is a barn being compared to a building using the word like. So we also have metaphor. So talking about metaphor, this is also another style under imagery that is used to, uh, you know, do comparisons. So it is a style that is used to compare two things that are unlike without using the words like or as. So the illustration of metaphor as a style in this episode is that the slow people in the text are referred to as a tortoise, that is the slow artists who are not able to paint very fast. So those who are fast were called the engineers, comparing the intense and frantic way they worked once an idea had struck, with an engine driver shoveling on coal for fear the steam would at the moment run out. So again, there were also the backwarders. So backwarder is also a word that is metaphorically used. So these people would step backwards every few minutes to view their canvas, that is to look at their paintings before proceeding. So we are also told that Tortoise as a character in this episode is compared to a puppy who had just petted. So there is also another style that we still have under that is under imagery, and this is overstatement. So overstatement is also called hyperbole, or we can also call it an exaggeration. So it simply means stating something too strongly than it ought to be. So in this style, Taro states that in the next 10 years, the name of KNC would be recognized all over the world. So this is an exaggeration, or we can call it a hyperbole. So the police indicate that they are coughing because Kuroda's painting were bad, and as a result produced bad smoke. So this is also another that is element of overstatement or exaggeration. So still under imagery, we also come across personification as a style. So this is when an idea or animal is given human characteristics. So in the episode, Ono describes Morisan's lantern as failing to give sufficient light to illuminate his part of the room. So again, looking at the way a lantern has been used here, it is as if it is having some human characteristics. So on to the next style that we have. Sorry, before we proceed to the next style, here are some other illustrations on personification. So Ono describes the day as being pleasantly warm. So the usage of pleasant for a day creates personification. So he also says objects around him through exaggerated shadow. So here the objects are given some qualities of humans or characteristics that belong to humans. So on to the next style, that is a vivid description. Remember, this is the use of a visually descriptive language in any work of literature. So Ono refers to the pavilion, that is by saying that the eaves of the elegant roof hang all the way round with lanterns. And again, he says when he met with Morisan inside the pavilion, that he recalls that the sky was pale crimson and the lights were coming on amidst the muddle of roofs, still visible down below in the gloom. So another illustration for this style is that Ono says when he gets to Kuroda's place that he saw everywhere the contents of cupboards and drawers emptied out over the floor. So some books had been piled up and tied into bundles, while the main room, the tatami, had been lifted, and an officer was investigating the floorboards beneath with a torch. So this is a scene that happens shortly after Kuroda is arrested. So another illustration is that Ono imagines of Morisan's villa as he climbs up the path, and he says the villa would appear down in the hollow below, a dark wooden rectangular set amidst the tall cedar trees. So, dear students, that brings us to a close of this session, and thank you for keeping it easy, Elimu. Until next time, bye.